Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers he plucks. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about how to make the most out of single life. Enjoy the show.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, do all those things. Turn on your notifications for new episodes every week coming in 2022.
I know. Now we're back every single week until forever.
That's right. I know. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to season 5 of Dating Kinda Sucks. We are coming to you from the past because we're still in 2021 when we're recording this, so we don't know if 2022 might have already gone to shit.
A shit show. Yeah.
I mean,
we haven't survived the holidays, complete holidays yet. We still have New Year's.
Yes, we're recording this on the 27th, so who knows if there's still a 2022 to even look forward to. But we're gonna be optimistic and have a season 5 that's gonna be fantastic. We're making some changes starting this year. We're going back to weekly episodes, and why don't you tell us what?
We haven't done that since 2019.
I know, since the pandemic.
Yeah.
But why don't you tell our listeners what we're gonna be doing?
So every other week, it'll still be Adam and I, like we've been doing with every other week cadence. And then those in between weeks, we'll be having guests on, experts, relationship therapists. I don't know. We're still figuring out who specifically is coming, but
we've had so many requests for people who want to be guests, and it doesn't really work in our normal format of the show, that we decided now the in-between episodes are going to be just conversations with interesting people, whether they're, like I said, whether they're therapists or relationship experts, or just someone who's kind of cool or crazy or has a neat job or in some way might have a different perspective on the world of dating, sex, and relationships. We're gonna
be interested in hearing more about.
Yeah, and we might like to talk to as well, because it'll be interesting for us. So that's what we're gonna be doing. So we are back with weekly episodes starting as soon as you hear this. Next week we'll have a brand new episode. We don't know who it's going to be.
Ready. Yeah, we're already not ready, but let's do this thing.
We can't. Yeah, we're not gonna. We can't give any promo for it. Just listen to it when it comes out next week. That's all we can tell you. But it is about time for us to get into more consistency and more continuous episodes as well.
You'll also hear new ads and different ad sections throughout our show now. So we've had some updates on that front as well. I know, Adam, you posted about that in our Facebook group, but just want to make sure listeners are aware as well.
Yes, because there are a couple thousand people in that group, but there's plenty of people who listen who don't participate in that group. Yes, we're changing things up a little bit. We're part of a new ad network, and so you are going to hear different ads that are just not ours, that are already inserted into this, and so they'll change things up a little bit, and it shouldn't affect any of the actual content in any way. One
star, too many ads. That's what
Yeah, but you know what? Eventually, I think that you'll just get used to it. It's just like TV shows. TV shows have commercials, and you even like it's funny. Like Hulu's big thing was like no ads, and then as soon as you sign up, okay, some ads.
Yeah.
Have you noticed how many of these, like the streaming places that said no ads, now it's like, okay, now we're just going to give you just one ad, and it's like, yeah, fucking assholes.
Yeah, sorry about that, but
awesome.
We're growing, so grow with us, especially if you've been here since season 1.
Yes, and as always, growing means sucking at the teat of commercialism and capitalism, and that's an unfortunate aspect of the world. So we are here, and is this the first episode that we have recorded in my new place, or I can't remember?
No, you were there last time.
Was I? Okay.
You were already in Vermont.
Okay. I finally gotten.
Nothing had happened really. You were
Yeah,
just
I think we were waiting for
had
internet
nothing.
and everything too, right? Like I I finally have good internet, and I feel like it's finally feeling like.
Well, you're right.
home.
Actually, you got there and didn't have time to edit the clip because you didn't have internet. So maybe this is
Yes.
your first one actually in Vermont. I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Yeah, because I think it is, because we kind of did an early one, and then we tried to record it. We might have recorded it, but I don't think I could upload the video for it until I had internet. It was a whole shit show. But now I'm finally feeling much more settled. I have my own actual internet. I don't have to try to like tap into my cousin's. That's her house is like 100 yards away, and that's great. And I'm starting to. I spent my Christmas ordering on Etsy, ordering like a couple prints and stuff so I can hang some things on the walls so the walls aren't so boring.
He's moving in. You'll be living in Vermont now until forever.
Just until March, but like it's just I feel like it needs to feel homey to me for me to feel comfortable to really kind of like not feel like I'm just a temporary guest, I think. So that's been me. So yes, Christmas. You
Oh, we're gonna switch to you. I was gonna say, what else is up in Vermont since
yeah,
you've
I
been
haven't.
there?
I really haven't done much. I had a date planned, but it was a day that it was really snowy, and she also was not feeling great, so we pushed it back and kind of decided just to wait till after the holidays. So we will be going. I think it'll be called the Skinny Pancake. Is the name of some place that some restaurant bar. It's a pancake.
Like
it's a breakfast
club?
place.
No?
I know it does sound like a strip club actually. It's a breakfast place that also is a bar, which I think is pretty interesting. So yeah, we're going to be rescheduling that, and that sounds like fun. I've otherwise just not really been on the apps too much with the holidays and everything. It's interesting. I did match with someone on Bumble. She rubbed me the wrong way from the beginning. Okay, and I'm gonna let me
profile wise, or her
no, her
first
profile is
message to
fine.
you?
She seemed interesting, but like Bumble has these new things that are these icebreaker questions that you can ask.
Didn't they always have those?
I don't know.
Maybe not questions. They added the stuff into your profile. It's been so long since I've been on the apps now. They added the prompts in your profile, but now they give you.
Now they have a little thing so like if a woman matches with a man and she doesn't want to like type something out, but she can choose one of their icebreaker questions. And then she can answer it, and then he can answer it, and then once he answers it, then it shows both people the answers, basically. So it's just kind of like a cool little way to maybe just, if you don't really want to, just say, hey, how are you? Or they don't have a lot on their profile, you can ask them a question, which nothing wrong with that. I like that concept. So she started off with one of those, and I don't remember what the question was, but it was whatever, and I answered it, and it seemed like her answer was just kind of meh, and then mine was like like a little. I felt like mine was more interesting, but that was okay, whatever. But it started conversation. We chatted, and then we were like mid conversation. We've been chatting for a couple of days, and she just sent a random another one. And
wait, it's not just a first message thing.
I think you could just maybe randomly send it. I don't know, but like it had a full answer, so she'd already answered it, so it wasn't like an accidental button press. So I answered that one too. But it was just weird that she was like, I don't like how this conversation is going, so let me turn it, And
wait, was there a lull in your conversation?
Not really. Like maybe like we'd been kind of lull because it is over the holidays. So like I had been responding when I had time, and I had not, spent a lot of time on there, but I had responded when I could. And then it was odd. And then on like the 24th, I saw that she messaged me, and I was like, like it's Christmas Eve. I was supposed to go to Boston, but I wasn't. I was like, I'm not really feeling it. And then my family ended up canceling their big Christmas Eve thing they were going to do in Boston because of COVID concerns and everything. So there wouldn't have been a point for me going. So I canceled my trip, stayed up here alone. And I was like, I don't really want to, like, if I'm going to be alone, I don't want to socialize with people either. Like, so I'm like, I'm not on the apps.
It's not even really socializing, but sure, I get it.
I don't want. I just want to be alone. Like it just completely.
Nobody messages. Yeah. That's true. I hadn't talked to you in like 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. And so I didn't. I was like, I'm not really gonna reply right now. I'll reply after Christmas. And so she sent me a message on the 24th that I didn't actually read. I just saw that she had, and I'm like, I didn't feel like it just wasn't in a mental place to open Bumble at all. Like I didn't open. I just saw the notification. And then I saw she sent me one on Christmas Day. So finally on the 26th, I went and opened it, and she had unmatched me.
So you don't know what any of the messages said?
No. I can assume that the one on the 25th is like, well, you don't feel very like, it was probably like, you don't seem very interested in chatting or whatever. But I'm like, It's fucking Christmas. Like, why would you expect people to be like on their dating apps during Christmas Eve and Christmas? Wouldn't you just expect that you're not going to hear from somebody for a couple of days? And
Unless the conversation's really popping off and you're having fun and you're not
yeah,
really doing anything and you want to continue the conversation, then yeah, I'd be upset if it just died. But
right.
if there was no conversation from before that to Christmas Day, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I assume you're busy with your family.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck her deal was, but it was kind of odd. And it was very off-putting, and I just was like, all right, well, that's more power to her or whatever. But here's maybe a tip: if that dating apps are not a priority for most people, real life takes priority. And if you are, if you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody and they just drop off the face of the earth, that's one thing. But if like conversations kind of you reply back and forth when you get a chance because you're just kind of busy with other things in your life,
You're living life.
don't take it personally and don't get shitty about it either. Not that I know that she was shitty, but I'm just going to assume she was shitty just because it fits my narrative right now.
Well, it kind of fits your narrative, yeah, because there was a message, you didn't respond. There was another message, you didn't respond. When you went to go look, you were unmatched with. So that
right. And respond. I went to look and like I was like, oh, I'll finally respond to her. Like it's after Christmas. I'm feeling a little more social, a little more like being, talking to strangers. So
hmm.
I don't know. But
Yeah,
so
I feel like being aggressive on the dating apps around the holidays is just a weird thing to be like.
because and like someone else actually didn't reply to my message for like 2 days over the holidays, and I wasn't like whatever. And then yesterday she sent me a message, hey, I'm so sorry, just with the holidays and everything. I was like, yeah, obviously, don't worry about it. You have nothing to apologize for. Real life takes precedence over the dating apps every time.
You literally said that to her.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Now I wish I knew what the message is.
Well, this was a different person. I'm saying this was not her. No, this was a different person who did the same thing I did, where she just didn't respond for a couple of days, and then she responded after Christmas saying, "Hey, sorry, it took me a little while to respond. I was busy with my family, blah blah blah." So, yeah, it was just something interesting, and it was like I said, a little off-putting that she would just do that. So, but we're unmatched, so I have no way to get in touch with her, and I'm not going to make any attempt to whatsoever. Why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah.
So this is going to lead to a tangent, but
It hasn't already. Hold up.
This is still dating app related, but this leads to a tangent just because this whole idea sometimes that people think that when you're on the internet, like that you don't have a real life, that you don't have something going on in your personal life that may be more important than the internet. I wrote this whole thing. There's been a whole bunch of drama on TikTok with some different creators and everything, and a lot of followers demanding that these creators respond and act on things and everything. And so I put a video out there. It was like, listen, creators don't owe you a fucking thing. Like they don't owe you a goddamn thing. You need to stop demanding action from them. You are not a part of their lives. You are a part of their life. And if they have things going on in real life that take precedence over things going on the internet, which doesn't fucking matter and is not a real place, then you have to respect that. And if you don't want to respect that, then just unfollow and block them and move on. Don't try to make it into some big thing that they owe you a response. And that was some.
Well, people get so connected to those that they see every day popping up on TikTok or messaging through a dating app or whatever, that when something does happen in their life, maybe it's the holidays, maybe it's a family emergency or something else, when you come back, they're like, oh my God, where did you go? So happy it's like the biggest deal ever.
Exactly. Yes. And it's
you're just living your life.
It's called a parasocial relationship, and they can be very toxic sometimes. And I had that happen years ago with the blogging world when I ended up having the affair, and we had people demand that we owed them an explanation because we were both bloggers. We were both well-known bloggers. We had our audience, these fucking people that were like, how dare you not talk to us about this? And I'm like, how dare we keep personal aspects of our lives personal because we don't want to share it with the hungry masses who are demanding our heads? It was
people that fucking knows.
Oh yeah,
I guess they are. Yeah.
And so on TikTok, I posted about this, and then someone stitched it. It was like, you say the internet's not a real place, but it is a real place. Like, it is a place that matters. Like, there are a lot of people who, like, what you say matters. And, and I was like, it does matter, but not in that sense. Like, you can walk away from the internet. There are plenty of people who live in the world who don't have internet, who don't use the internet on a regular basis, who are on social media, who still have fully, fulfilled lives.
Yep.
You can't walk away from, in the example of what was happening on TikTok, of somebody swatting someone, of somebody sending a SWAT team to their house in an attempt to kill them, which is what happened with one of these creators.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this one creator who calls out problematic accounts. One of the problematic accounts sent out a fake email from the creator to like the local council saying he was going to shoot up everybody, blah, blah, blah. And so they sent the SWAT team to his house. It's called swatting, and it's very dangerous, and obviously it's a felony. It's a federal crime as well, I think. So like this creator had this going on in his life. So how about like he can't walk away from that going on in his life. He can turn off TikTok for a week and nothing's going to change in his life. Yes,
TikTok,
exactly.
or without dating apps or any other thing. Social media.
I just think it's important for people to understand that and realize that sometimes is that if you're on TikTok every day and you're on there or wherever social media, and you're the one who always keeps tabs on everything, but people just disappear for a little while, it's okay. Everyone has their own life in the real world, and you don't deserve to be a part of it automatically.
I think it can be fun to get swept up in other people's lives.
Sure.
But just remember that they have their own personal life behind the screen, and you should have yours too. So why aren't you that invested in your life sometimes?
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
be as invested in your life as you are in theirs, and maybe something good will come out of that. I don't know.
Yeah, and find another hobby. Maybe it would be a good thing too. Like it's okay to be a fan and a follower, but it's not okay when you become a toxic fan or follower. And I know that this is a complete diversion from talking about this Bumble woman, but it just made me think about that. Like, in her mind, I had nothing better but to respond to her messages.
Right. Well, there's an entitlement to that. Is I'm so great, I'm a catch.
Yeah.
Someone should want to talk to me. You're ignoring me. How dare you? Fuck you. I'm going to unmatch you. I think that's the thought process.
And I do think that is part of it. And it really is one of those things like, yeah, you were great, but also, I don't like Christmas. I don't like celebrating Christmas. So I tend to really shut down, and I don't want to do much. Like, I was not in a place to really talk to people and be engaging over Christmas.
And you never met her in person, and you don't owe her an explanation.
Even if I did meet her in person, fuck her. Like, I'm not trying
to. There it is.
Yeah, no, like, even if I did meet her in person, no, fuck that. Like, I didn't respond to anyone on Christmas. I answered the phone when my mother called.
This is true.
That was it. And I didn't respond to another single person because I just didn't emotionally and mentally want to. I wanted to just, relax and talk to nobody and shut down and do my own shit. And like, that's I don't owe anything to anybody. And so that's where this whole, like I said, this whole diversion just came from. I didn't mean to go off on this whole tangent, but
I think this is a great stopping point for a little break, though. So thank you for that rant, Adam.
That's right. Yeah, we'll be right back. So Sarah, what have you been up to?
Start that over again, because I was talking and go ahead.
You could have just cut your audio out.
I know I could have. As soon as I did that, I was like, dumbass.
So Sarah, what have you been up to since we recorded last?
I don't know if I had a more interesting Christmas than you, but I did.
I mean, it had to be more interesting. Literally.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I was in my underwear. I binge watched Daredevil on Netflix. I organized my place to make it more cozy, and I cooked myself a giant dinner. That was really it. So.
Yeah, I mean,
chicken cordon bleu and vegetables. I actually had vegetables, by the way. Like,
I'm so proud.
Not like on a sandwich, but like an actual thing of like
a side of vegetables,
peas and carrots, and I just took one of those steamed
only
bags
for Christmas.
And ate the entire thing. Yeah,
with mayonnaise, but
butter in this case, no mayo.
No, I had 2 weekends of Christmas activities. So the weekend,
yeah, you did.
I know, and I'm done now. I don't even want to celebrate New Year's. I'm over it. But the weekend before Christmas, my brother and mom came into town, and we celebrated with Master of None, at least for one full day. And then actual Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we spent with Master of None's family at their house. But when I guess I could start with my family first since that was like the first weekend, but my mom is really big on Christmas pajamas and taking
Oh
Christmas
my God.
photos and all
Yes.
the cheesy stuff. So before she got there, she had mailed Master of None and I pajamas and was like, we're going to take a photo. And then my mom and I went out shopping without Master of None, and she bought these Christmas mugs, which I told her she didn't need to get, but she insisted that it looked really good with the Christmas photo we're going to take, and it goes with the
Okay.
pajamas and all this shit. So that one morning we all woke up and took pictures, and Masterman was like, thank you for making me do this, but I don't want to do this again. We don't do this in my family, but
Oh, it's got to be an annual thing now. Like I
oh, I
think is what
know.
it is.
Well,
I
and
love, by the way, I love that he participated in that. And I saw the picture and I was just like, oh, poor Master of None.
you really did. You texted, you're like, oh my, or you messaged on Instagram or whatever. Oh my God.
Yep. Yep. And then I said, poor
Yeah,
him.
he was fine with it, but I told him to take the tags off of the pajamas, and he was like, "No, I'm going to return them." And I was like, "Don't let my mom find out." He's like, "Something's gonna spill on those pajamas, and then they can't be worn
Right.
ever again, and that's what I'm gonna tell your mom." And I was like, "Mom, I hope you don't hear that." But so he doesn't plan on keeping them, and I've been wearing them. But so that was pretty much that weekend, and we went out and ate and drank a lot, and went out to Christmas bars, and he was very happy when my brother came in. He vibes obviously a little bit more with my brother than my mom. And so when my brother showed up, we all started really drinking and bar
That's
hopping and
fun.
stuff. So that was fun. And then for Christmas Eve, we went over to Master of None's parents' house and had a Christmas Eve dinner with a couple of their friends. And then Christmas morning, we opened presents. And I think Master of None was being a little protective because Christmas Eve, as we were leaving, he was kind of telling his parents, 2 hours on a Zoom with his sister with me there is kind of annoying for me because I'm not
Right.
really part of the family and I'm
Right.
not really going to be opening up gifts the whole time. And his stepmom was like, well, we got Sarah a couple of gifts too. And he's like, yeah, but she should be wanting to spend time with her family or not spending time with us. And I was like, it's fine. It's fine. But
Yeah.
after we left their house on Christmas morning, I was like, yeah, I'm happy to be back at our apartment doing absolutely nothing because
Sure.
yeah, it's just like being on and trying to be on my best behavior where I can kind of cut loose a little bit more with my family, as I'm sure he does feel the same way about his. But I was just on my P's and Q's over at their house and
Right.
trying not
Yeah.
to
It's very,
curse
yeah.
and
Yeah. Try not
trying
to
to
be
be
Sarah.
trying not to be me. And I I think, and I was the only one who didn't eat pork, and they made two pork dishes, and his dad had forgotten about that. And then he was like, Sarah, you want a slice? And Master Node's like, she doesn't eat that. And he's like, God damn it, I forgot again. And I didn't care. It doesn't bother me. There are other things to eat, but I just felt like not I wasn't the problem, but in some instances I'm like, sorry, I don't eat that. Sorry, I'm here and whatever.
Okay, I want to interrupt, but we go right back to your story. But I just wanted
Oh
that just
boy.
reminded me of the very first Christmas we spent at my parents' house with when I was married, and we like drove down from St. Louis, and we're there, and Amy tells me like Christmas morning that she's decided she wants to be vegetarian.
Christmas
I
morning?
think it was Chris. I'm pretty sure it's
You
Christmas morning,
can't
and so
just decide that Christmas morning.
Christmas Day, my dad is like starting to get the ham and everything ready, and he's carving the ham, and
Oh.
he asks her if she wants a piece, and she's like, "No, I'm vegetarian." He goes, "You are? Since when?" And she's like, "Yes, I've decided." He goes, "Are you sure?" So then he starts chasing her around the house with a piece of ham on a fork, just like, "Come on, have some." Like he just it was all in fun, but it was just, that was the end of our
Did it
relationship
hurt it?
basically.
I was
That's when
gonna say, did it hurt her
that
feelings?
I don't know if it hurt her. I don't know if it did hurt her feelings, but it was just funny, just like the pork thing too. Yeah, but yeah, that was definitely the death toll of our relationship, not the affair. It was her deciding to become vegetarian.
No
Uh,
more, yeah, no meat.
we half of our relationship was going out to eat and everything. But anyways, so let's go back to you. I just
Cool
wanted,
story. Cool
yeah.
story.
I just remember my dad like with a piece of ham on a fork going like, "Come on, Amy," and like chasing her around the table trying to get her to take a bite.
Well, Master of None's parents didn't do that. And if they would have, I
That-
would have just thrown it on the ground and given it to the dog.
right.
But
Yeah, my dad's just Italian and very loud, and he's closer to, I think, what your family's like than probably Master of None's family.
Yeah, I am the loud one, and it has been noted on multiple family occasions with his family that I am very loud, and that's why I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. And shut the fuck up, Sarah. How about you lower it a couple of decibels, Sarah? And I can't fucking do it. I can't do it. That's not me. He doesn't love me because I'm quiet. So
Right.
there's that.
We all love you because you're your loud, unabashedly, honest self.
I would hope that's why you love me. But anyways, so we left Christmas Day feeling more relaxed after leaving, and unboxed all of our gifts. And then I don't know, I was kind of, because last year,
Unboxed
well, because we
because you didn't wrap anything.
no, we received a lot of appliances.
Oh,
So we had
okay.
unwrapped stuff, and then we still had to assemble some of these appliances
Oh,
and
okay,
things. So we
okay.
were like setting all of that up once we got back to our apartment. So we did that for a few hours, and like,
So what did you get Master of None for Christmas?
what did I get him? So two things haven't arrived in the mail. So
Oh no.
girlfriend of the year award, but I did order them well before,
Yeah, that's not your fault.
Portugal or whatever. But so he got 2 albums, and Master of None has a list for everything he wants for the holidays. So I
Right.
just picked a couple of things that equaled a dollar amount that we were cool giving one another, and I was like, this equals that, and here's everything you got. So
That's good.
yeah, he got 2 albums, and then he makes keyboards
Okay.
for computers, and so he needed a couple parts for future keyboards he's going to build. So I bought him a couple parts for that, which are actually more expensive than you would think.
Yeah, the keyboard parts can be expensive.
Well, he also made me a keyboard for Christmas too. So
That's cool.
So because he looks on his free time, like we'll be in bed and he'll just be looking at different keyboards going, what do you think about this design? What do you think about that one? And we've been doing that for a year now. And then I had a feeling, because he said he spent the weekend while I was, or the whole day when I was hanging out with my mom building my gift or whatever. And I had a feeling he was building the keyboard. But yeah, I like it. And
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a cute gift actually, because it's something you can use. And because I think Mac keyboards are terrible. Like they're originally like the OG keyboards are so awful.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it's an improvement upon that.
Yeah, and it like lights up. It's all fancy, and he built it. And he's like, "Oh, I don't like how this key sticks. I'm gonna fix this for you." And he's very proud of what he made, and I love it. So I thought it was a really well thought out gift. But yeah, besides that, I mean, I got a new coffee maker. He got a whirly pop. Do you know what a whirly pop is? I figured you would know. We got a whirly pop and
like a popcorn machine.
It's a popcorn machine. Yeah, his family likes to make popcorn at home, and then they put different spices.
Fresh popcorn is really good, like when it's like fresh. So
yeah, and of course he's the cook. And it's funny enough, his family kept asking this weekend, Sarah, do you cook a lot? And Master of None looks at me like, no, hell no, she doesn't cook. I'm the one. I'm like, and that's why I'm thankful for your son.
Right. Exactly.
No, I can ask, do you need help in the kitchen? But I'm probably not going to be any help in the kitchen. But yeah. And then I don't know, I was kind of sad Christmas night just because I don't know, it was just like a reflection on, it was just the two of us, and it's fine not being around my family because I saw them the weekend prior, but I also just kind of missed being around family and friends. And then I just kind of got into this vibe of feeling like a hypocrite because looking at other relationships when I was single and how they kind of isolated themselves from their friends, I thought that's kind of what I was doing because I've been feeling lonely lately, which actually ties in really well, which is not planned into this week's episode. But yeah. I just felt like, I'm very lonely and I feel like I've isolated myself and I rely a lot more on Master of None than I ever intended. And I used to really place a lot of judgment on people who did the same thing. This is more back in like high school and early college where we'd all be in a big group and then they'd have a
disappear into their relationship and you never hear from them again.
And then the relationship would end and they'd come back and I'm like, fuck you. And I always vowed that I would never be like that. And then now I'm like, well, where are all of my friends? And that really has nothing to do with me saying like, fuck all my friends because I'm in a relationship, because I've had other issues with friendships and things that aren't related to being in a relationship. But I randomly just felt that on Christmas. And then I was sad about it because Christmas is friends and family and everything. And I was like, am I a bad person? I don't know. What am I doing with my life? So yeah, that was fun.
Wow. I would say that, knowing you since you've been in Nashville, you even before, if you have a couple friends that you spend time with, but for the most part you would do your own thing. You always had your classes, your workout classes, and then you would go on dates.
Mhm.
Like, and so you were always pretty active as a single person regardless of your friends, and then maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks you'd go spend time with your friends. So I always felt like that it seems pretty representative of your time now anyways, even as friendships change and you
It's more
lose some, win
friendships
some.
changing.
Yeah.
It's more of that, and I think my friend groups in the past 4 years of living in Nashville have changed so much
Right.
that I'm like, wait, 5 years ago, celebrating my 25th birthday, I was with a completely different group of people than who I'm going to be celebrating with during my 30th birthday. And
Yeah.
that's life. But I don't know, it just like really hit me of, am I, do I have no friends or whatever? And I think I've surrounded myself with people that support me and I support, and we're all good influences in each other's lives. And I've kind of started mellowing out some of those other people who haven't been good fits. But
Yeah.
it's a weird, and this happens in many parts of life,
Mhm.
not just in your 30s or, oh fuck, it's weird to say because I'll be 30 soon. But
I
I don't
know.
know. It's just one of those things where I just don't. My New Year's resolution is to really be more active in different communities, and whether that's volunteering or different hobbies and things like that. So I want to get
What
back
kind of
in.
hobbies are you going to be active in doing?
Oh, so I'm actually this week taking a couple pole dancing classes and
Okay.
aerial silk classes. So I'm hoping to meet people there. And it's another way, since I don't have my fitness classes right now because I canceled those memberships, this will be another way to kind of build muscle and try something different because I can still work out at my apartment's gym. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how that goes and new people I meet and just try something new.
Cool. Well, plenty of people that I know that take pole classes bring their phones and set them up on tripods and record them trying it.
I'm not going to do that my first time. I'll
Maybe not your
probably wait
first time,
until
but at
I'm
some point, yeah,
better.
they definitely should, just so we can incorporate that into our videos on YouTube.
Okay, just for
Just
YouTube.
just so I can make music videos. I just want a fail compilation is what I want. I just want to put together a Sarah fail compilation.
I don't think you would be able to look at videos of me trying to be sexy on a pole.
That
I
would be
don't think
weird.
you could,
I don't think pole dancing is necessarily like sexy. But you're right. That would be
but I
weird.
think it would be a little more
Yeah,
sexy than you would be ready to
I would.
see.
I don't think. Yeah, that's a very good point. That would. They're already going to be on your Instagram, I'm sure. So I'll see them when
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
once they're on IG, which I think pole dancing is cool. I don't think it's all necessarily sexual, but it's a lot of
No, no.
strength than
Yeah.
anything else. But so I'm ready to get some upper body strength, as you noted earlier. If you're not ready for that, I'm like, no shit. I know I'm fucking weak, Adam. I know.
Well, no, weak. I don't think like just amazing. Like the people that I know that can do that shit on the aerials and the silks and the pole, like they're it's incredible. Like it
They're
really
like
is.
gymnasts. Yeah.
Yeah. So I look forward to it. Like it'll be interesting to see how much if you like it and if it's something that you think you're gonna stick with.
Well, I told Master of None that if I really do like it, there's a pole going up in someone's bedroom.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you got the space for it.
yeah.
And since this is in January, this episode's airing in January. I figured we'd just chat real quick because then we'll get to catch up later.
Okay.
About what are your New Year's plans?
I don't have any.
You really good.
And I really don't want any, to be
Yeah,
honest.
makes sense.
Well, the pain in the ass. So you have the new variant going around.
Yes.
You have everybody right now having COVID, and everything in Nashville requires a reservation for anything you want to do, unless you're going to a really hole in the wall restaurant or whatever. So I don't want to deal with crowds and I don't want to deal with getting COVID. So I don't think we're doing shit. We just bought a bunch of
Okay.
alcohol here. So we'll probably make a couple drinks and just chill out, which is actually what we did last year because we couldn't go anywhere either. We woke up and we just got drunk until 3 a.m, drinking champagne and talking about music. And it was a nice night of just being in love. I don't know. That sounds
Aw.
really cheesy, but like
Aw.
I think back to last year and I'm like, it was the most low key New Year's I've ever had, but I had the most fun with him. So
Do you have like a rooftop thing where you guys can see fireworks and stuff? Or
we do. Yeah, we do actually. And I think since we're right downtown, we'll be able to see them either from our apartment or upstairs. And it probably won't be cold. So
yeah,
it won't be an issue.
because climate change isn't a thing. Not at
No,
all.
60s on Christmas Day in Nashville. That's not a big deal at all.
Although, of course, today my car was frozen shut from the freezing rain over Christmas, and then I went to scrape it off, and my scraper broke completely off. So then I had to use just the little tiny scraper part and like hold on to that and just scrape my windows with that, just so I could go into town.
It's
And
better
then
than a credit card because I've done that
oh
before,
God,
like
yeah,
an
I can't
idiot.
imagine. And I can't, and then I forgot to buy a scraper when I was in town, so now I don't have a scraper. So that
You
yeah, I know.
literally told me that on the phone. You said I need to buy a scraper
Yeah, I
when I
know.
get into
Completely forgot.
town.
Completely forgot to do it. And into town is like a full day trip. Like this is a full day of like going into town to go to the grocery store. It was ridiculous.
Well,
And
what
my
are
New
you
Year's
doing?
should be interesting. So I'm here. I've got my cousin's house with her husband and her two daughters is a little bit away, and I guess for New Year's Eve, her mother was supposed to come for Christmas, but her mother's husband was sick, so she didn't come. So they all went to Rhode Island instead, and so they were gone for the couple days. But I guess for New Year's, they're coming here to the house here, and so I'm guessing they're going to expect me to show up and participate in whatever New Year's thing they're doing.
You know what you should do? You should just bring hot dogs to a campfire and just make your dinner
I was
there.
about to tell that story.
I love that.
We haven't said that, but yes. So the girls are like 6 and 8, and then it's my cousin Lee and her husband, and they had a fire. Like, we're gonna do a fire. It's a nice. You should come out. We're gonna cook marshmallows. And I was chatting with you or doing
You
something
were,
like
yeah.
yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go join them afterwards. But I hadn't eaten dinner, so we got off our call, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just bring some hot dogs. So like I threw on slippers, and even though it was in the middle of the snow, but these slippers have like a rubberized bottom or whatever, monster slippers. I was wearing just like pajama pants and then a hoodie and a hat, and then I grabbed hot dogs and tinfoil because I was like, I'll just wrap it in there. I walk out there, and my cousin's like, what are the hot dogs? And I was like, well, I figured I'd just cook hot dogs while I'm out here. Like, why not? Like that way I can cook my dinner at the same
Yeah.
time. And she's like, are you a hobo? Like, is this is that what this is? You're just going to be a hobo. So I was like, hey, and I just wrapped my hot dogs in foil and threw them in the bottom of the fire while we just sat around the fire, and I scooped them out, took them home with me. But she went on her phone and pulled up hobo songs and started playing hobo songs and making fun of me for being a hobo. And yeah, she's like, do you need like a stick with a bag on it that you can hold your hot dogs to carry on your shoulder as you walk around?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I
And
thought you actually just put the hot dog on a stick and would just hold it over the fire. I didn't
well, there were
realize you
no
threw it.
sticks.
Oh,
So and yeah, I did have a fork with like a long handled fork that had two hot dogs on it, but I was cooking more than that. So the rest I just threw into the fire wrapped in
you were
foil.
cooking more than 2 hot dogs?
I brought a whole package.
What the? Okay, now, okay. I was
I was
defending
thinking,
you. I was defending you for a while. I didn't realize you brought a whole fucking package.
well, because I was
of
like, if
them.
I'm gonna cook them, might as well just cook a whole bunch, and then like and then I'll have hot dogs to eat later. Like it'll just be it'll be dinner for later. And so yeah, and they yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty funny. And then I took all the hot dogs and I put them in my hat to carry them back
So
because
you had 12 hot dogs?
no, it was like eight.
Okay.
Eight
Close
hot dogs.
enough.
Yeah, but I put them all in my hat to carry them back because they were too hot, like, and everything. So I had to put them in my hat to carry them. So that was my the hobo life, basically, is what it is.
At least you had vegetables the other day, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I said it was I've been buying these bags of salad, the salad bags, and eating those. I know.
Cool.
Yeah, because I'm like because like having there's no fast food here, and so I can't get to I'm like oh, I might as well change my palate a little bit. So
Well,
and speaking of
for
changing
you.
palettes,
Let's change this topic and be right back after a break.
yes, just like that.
Just
Well
like
done.
that.
So before we went to break, we're talking about the me bringing the hot dogs, and it reminded me of something else that I wanted to say, but then we had to go
Really?
break.
More?
So,
We got more of this?
I was dating somebody, and she and I were going to Cocoa Beach because I had actually gotten booked to perform a wedding, to officiate a wedding over there. And so we're driving over there, and she asked me, she's like, so do you get paid to like do these weddings? And I was like, well, usually, yeah, but these are friends. So I just, instead, I offered to do it for them as long as they would just give me a room in Cocoa Beach. So not to come back, and like a bottle of liquor at the bar for the wedding. And she goes, so basically, like you're doing this wedding for like hooch and a place to crash, so hobo wages. And I was like, yes, I am doing this wedding for hobo wages. So apparently there's just a pattern of me being a hobo now.
And what does this have to do with how to be single?
Oh, I'm single now, I guess. So there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Tie right into it. So it's funny. Apparently, I'm a hobo. And now I'm single. And the reason I wanted to talk about this topic is
The real reason, not because
real
of
reason,
hot dogs by a
not
fire.
because,
No.
not because of the hot dogs by a fire, is that one of my good friends in Memphis is recently single after I think she was married for 20 something years, and they've been together since she was in like right out of high school. They've been together, and so now she's in her mid 40s and is single for the first time ever, basically. Like, because I don't think it counts when you're single when you're single at like 18 or 19 or 20. Like,
Yeah, it's a big transition to be single after being in a relationship for a really long time too,
yes,
especially in marriage.
Yes, especially when it's been the same person too. So it's like she's been with one person for so long. And the other night she said, I'm thinking of just going out to a bar like for a drink. Is that weird? And I was like,
Aww.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, no, that's not weird. Like, yes, please go do that. She goes, are you sure? Like, I'm not like, this isn't. I was like,
No
no.
one's gonna laugh at you.
She's like, because the kids are
Yeah.
gone. I'm sitting here. I'm kind of bored. And I was like, yeah, fucking go out and just like, and she goes, so what do I do? Like, and I was like, what do you mean? What do you do? She's like,
You just go.
like, yeah. And so then like, I was actually like, she's like, well, okay, you have to be my virtual wingman. So then like, she gets to the bar and she's like texting me and she's like, I feel weird. Like, I feel like I'm rude to be on my phone. I'm like, why? Like, you're not there like to talk to anybody. Like, if you want to talk to somebody, you can, but you're not there specifically to talk. You're not waiting for somebody. Sit at the bar, make friends with the bartender is the thing to do. Like, make friends with them. Forget everybody around you. Like, if you decide to make buddies with somebody because you're sitting there for a while, that'll happen. But focus on the bartender and be on your phone all you want. Like, that's the nice thing about going out when you're single is you can do whatever you want and you're not being rude to anybody because nobody has any expectations for how you're going to behave or act except you.
Yeah, as long as you're not a drunken mess causing a scene or something,
right? Oh
you're
yeah,
fine.
of course, but even that's going to happen sometimes. Like, honestly, it just
I think back to you and Joey Fatone at the Orlando bar.
Getting in a fight with fucking Joey
That,
Fatone.
like, literally my mind went straight to that. I was like, well,
yeah.
just don't pull an Adam.
Yeah,
like
just don't pull
that,
on me. But so yeah, then she's like, oh, okay. She's, oh well, what if I like, what do I like? Is it just do I just sit here? And I was like, sit there for as long as you want. Just have a drink. When you're done, go home. Like, that's all you like. Order some food if you want some food. Like, if you see somebody interesting to talk to, then talk to them. Like, and so then like she texted me at like 3 a.m, and I was like, because she didn't go out till like 11. So then she texted me like 3 a.m, and I was like, well, I met a couple new people and I had like one sketchy moment with somebody, but it was overall fun. It was a good experience. And thanks for like pushing me to go out. And it just made me realize that like she has like really no idea how to be a single adult. She's never had to do it. And so I thought this episode might be a good way to talk about ways to be a single adult, like how to just retake your life basically.
Yeah. And there's a lot of comfort that comes with doing things with people too. That just becomes a habitual part of the process of going out is I have to have someone. There needs to be somebody.
Yes.
And I think when it first dawned on me that I could do things by myself and it's not weird is I was reminded of this experience as a kid where it was a fucking macaroni grill of all places, but there was a woman sitting there reading a book at dinner by herself. And as a 7 or 8 year old, I thought that was so weird. It's like, why is she sitting there by herself reading a book? And now I'm realizing that's fucking awesome.
Right?
You.
Yeah.
You wanted a nice dinner. Why the fuck me as a stupid kid being like, that woman's weird because she's by herself? No, she's a badass because she wanted to go out to dinner and she took her fucking self out to dinner.
Went to dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I first used to go to like the movies by myself. And I remember it was a while ago because I used to wear a watch. And so I remember I would like sit and I would like look at my watch and like pretend like I was waiting for someone. Coming? Like I was basically pretending that someone was coming who was that I was waiting for, and that I wasn't sad or pathetic to be there alone. This is back like when I first got divorced and started, and then I eventually realized, why am I doing this? Like, who the fuck cares?
Ego. It's an ego thing.
Well, it's like, no, it's like, yeah, I feel like I'm worried that people are going to think I'm weird, that here's this guy alone at the movies, and eventually I realized it doesn't fucking matter. But I remember like, yeah, because I didn't know what to do. I was like, it was such an odd thing for me.
Yeah, because you feel like the spotlight's on you because you ask for a table for one, or you walk into the bar with no one else around and you expect someone to be like, are you here with someone? And when you say no, I also think it's a social stigma thing too, because a lot of people are used to being paired up or in big groups. When you say you're alone, they're like, wow, you're so brave, or wow, you're so this. And it's like, I'm just doing what I want to do. I don't find that to be like a brave thing anymore. But when you're first getting into it, it is a brave thing. But now it's just
it is.
It's just I do this. And I'm fine with doing it by myself.
And not only that, now 11, 12 years later, I prefer it. Like, I don't want to go to the movies with anybody else. Like, I don't even ask, even when I was in Florida, I didn't ask if anybody wanted to go. I'm like, no, I'm going. I want to take my time, get to the theater as early as I want, have concessions if I want, take my time watching. I want to stay till the end and watch after the credits if that's what I want. Like, and I don't want to have to talk to anybody about, what'd you think, or like have to deal with someone else's bad etiquette at the movies, So like, I really don't want that. Just like when I go to a bar by myself, like sometimes I just want to go eat at my own pace. I don't want to have to worry about somebody else not being ready to go or wanting to go. Like, it's so nice to just go by myself.
Mm-hmm. And I know we had mentioned like the in between when we talked about that the last episode we recorded, but it kind of goes back to that of figuring out your footing for being single.
Yeah.
Now on the other side of the spectrum and going, okay, this is what I can do, and this is okay. I'm easing back into being comfortable being my own person.
Exactly, and so that's a good way to kind of talk about why is being single important? Like, I think that's something that maybe some people might not quite understand. Some people think, well, I'm only single in between relationships, they're only single as long as until they can find somebody else to date, because that's their whole goal of life. And I think that it's definitely important to learn how to be single. We all have friends who are those like relationship chameleons, and I know that one of my good friends' moms does this, where every time she's in a new relationship, she takes on all of the hobbies of the new partner,
even if she hates them.
Well, she doesn't know that she doesn't have. That's the thing. She has no interests of her own. So like,
that can't be true though. That really can't be true.
She's not aware of any interests of her own. She's just been in a relationship for so long, and she's so used to just submitting, because she also picks really shitty men who are usually very very controlling. But she also she's like, it's beer tasting, and then this next one is, oh, we like going mudding, and then this other one's like, oh, now we like fancy dinners, and or now we're really into brewing our own whatever, like, and it's like everything's different, and they're all weird things that she had never shown any interest in, and then all of a sudden her partner is, so that's her hobby and her interest now, and it's so unhealthy. And I think
you could like those interests if it brings you together as a couple and you enjoy doing it with them, but you don't have to particularly make that your hobby. You can like doing that thing with that person, but that's not your thing.
Right. Like, yeah, it's something like, yeah, I enjoy, like, oh, it's not, I've never tried this before. Oh, this is cool. Like, you try someone's hobbies, but you don't all of a sudden, like, it's like, all of a sudden her new profile photo is her decked out in camo because the new thing's hunting, and like, and then she goes out and it's just, and and everything's hunting couple, we hunt together, whatever, like, and it's pathetic is what it is. And it happens so much. There's so many people like that because they really are just a shell of a human being. Like, people like that, they're essentially so desperate to be in a relationship that they've never taken the time to figure out who they are as a person, whether they're scared of who they are or they just I don't know, they don't want to know.
I think it's the made up belief that being single means you're a loser,
Yeah.
because no one wants to choose you.
Yeah.
So that being in a relationship defines success, which means you have shit together, which means your life is going places. That means you will be a, what did you say, chameleon, and
Relationship
just
chameleon. Yeah.
relationship chameleon, and just morph into whatever that other person likes because you want to be successful and you want to be with that person.
I agree. I think that stigma is something we need to get rid of. The idea that being single is somehow a bad thing. That it's okay to be single. It's great to be single. You do whatever you need to do in your life. And
Being in a relationship can suck too.
exactly.
You know, why are we talking more about that? Relationships can be fucking terrible. I saw this TikTok the other day of don't be sad that you're single on Christmas. There are people in relationships fighting on Christmas over dumb shit. Shouldn't you
Yes.
be happy that you're single and not dealing with that bullshit? I'm like, yes, perspective, fucking thank you.
I have found, so many people who are desperate to be in a relationship tend to say, well, if you just look at all these happy couples, and you have to understand that those happy couples are not happy all the time. And a lot of times, I wish I could remember where the source of this came from. So I apologize for not having the source for this, but someone was talking about essentially that social media is two unequal parts. Part one is people who share things that are at the high points of their lives. And that
Right.
part two is that we're scrolling and like absorbing social media when we're at lower points in our lives, not necessarily like sad points, but
Just
like
meh.
the quiet points in our lives.
Yeah.
Like, and not even meh, you could be happy, but you're still quiet and you're sharing the loud points. So that when you're kind of quiet and meh, and that you're at the low point in your life and you're scrolling, you're seeing everyone's high point. And so it's easy to have that fear of missing out and try to feel like there's something, when the reality is that we're all happy and unhappy. We all have positive moments and negative moments. We all have moments of loneliness, and even if we're with people, and you can't put that all on being single or being in a relationship.
I think the overarching message, because you touched on it in the first half, is just fucking take a break from social media too.
Well, yeah, that too.
Because that it also stems from this comparison game, which everybody has talked about, but just a thought there.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of changing something up in the new year, why not make it that? I don't know.
Take a break. So I think that it's important to talk about the thrill of being single, but also just the positives of being single. That being single allows you to, figure out what your interests are, your pleasures, what you don't like, your weaknesses, your strengths, like things that you might not have ever had the time to assess because you've always been in a relationship. So you've always been complimenting someone else, or in some way
compromising on something you
Yep.
wanted to do because they want to do something different and you want to make it work. So you say, yeah, sure, we'll leave at this time instead of staying till the end of the party or doing
Right.
whatever. And yes, you have control in a relationship to say, I want to stay, da 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 da. But you also don't have the same level of control in some instances versus being single, where you can go, nah, fuck it, I'm doing this and no one's going to tell me otherwise. So
Exactly.
and there really aren't many downsides to being single besides like wanting, if you're constantly going, I want to be in a relationship, then you're going to think being single is the biggest downside ever. But having that alone time to really reflect on who you are, because at the end of the day, it's only you. It is you when you die, I hate to go back to death, but it's just you. Like it's just you
true.
and what you've accomplished in your life and who you are as a person. And honestly, only you know yourself. Like everyone else, just like scrolling through social media and seeing the highs and seeing whatever. Master of None knows a version of me. My friends know a version of me. Adam knows a version of me, but I am all of those versions in one.
Yes.
And I have my own persona when it's just me. And I think a lot of people haven't, if you haven't been single for a long time, you haven't taken the time to build that solo persona. And that's really important because it's just you. It really is just you. And once you build that persona, then it helps fuel other relationships in a positive way.
Exactly. Because once you have built that persona, then you start to learn more about who you are and what you like and don't like. And you are able to make better decisions when it comes to dating and relationships. Because when you're happy on your own, it makes it a lot easier to walk away from someone who's a detriment to that. If you're already happy because you're happy being single, then you're only going to look for healthier relationships, people who elevate you beyond where you already are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's a big reason to consider, if you get out of a relationship, taking the time to be single. And then the next step is, like how do you like what do you do to be single? Like how do you live as a single adult? And we'll touch on that when we get back from this short break.
Okay, now how do you improve on yourself and find your true alone persona, if that's what we really want to call it, your true single
Your
identity.
single self, single identity.
Your single
Yeah.
self,
You're just
single
who you
identity.
are as a person, really.
Yeah, I think it's starting with, and this sounds so cheesy to me, but I think this is really important, is what do I like to do? Going back to your friend, stripping the boyfriend or whoever she's with away. What does Sarah want to do? What does Adam want to do? What do you want to do with your free
Right.
time? Do you want to read a book? Do you want to journal? Do you want to go see a movie? Do you want to sign up for a class? No, but don't let anything else influence that. What's something you always wanted to do or liked as a kid that you want to get back to doing again? I think that's a really important thing too, of thinking what I did, what I really enjoyed doing as a kid that brought me so much joy and just so much energy, and going, wow.
Masturbate.
Okay, well, maybe don't go. Yes, you can enjoy that. And I, not that you can't do that as your single self, but definitely I'm thinking other hobbies, Adam, other hobbies.
Okay.
And going back to those and going, okay, well, I don't know what I like to do. What did I do as a kid? Okay. And just trying new things that way is a good first start to sectioning out your time into doing things that you like to do or exploring options like that.
That's interesting, and I had actually never really thought about that as going back to what you do as a kid, because I did find when I was divorced and that I had a lot. I'm a strong personality, so I already had a lot of things that I knew that I liked and didn't like, but it wasn't as defined because I was compromising them for Amy and saying, okay, well, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I realized, oh no, I don't actually like doing some of these things that we did together. And that there are other things that I'd like to do that she never wanted to do. And I don't actually have any specific examples off the top of my head, but it's just, and so it took some time for me to be like, oh, now I can just go do this. Like, if I want to read a book, I didn't have to be like, hey, I want to read for a little while. Can I have some quiet time? I know you wanted to go to dinner, but I'm really into this book. I can be like, no, I'm going to keep reading until this book is done. And I don't have to talk to anybody about it.
And I'll order my own food to be delivered here. I don't want to go out to dinner either.
Exactly. that is, it took me a while to actually realize that I did not enjoy going. We would go out to dinner a lot. And while I like eating out, I don't like I'm actually not a big fan of really nice restaurants. I used to think I was, and I think it was just because
the social element of being
showing off.
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like, I like the idea of having enough money to go to really nice places and walking in there in a shorts and a t-shirt and daring them to say anything, basically. Because
ego once again.
Total ego.
Yeah.
But like showing off with Amy and like, oh yeah, no, we can afford to be here, like, how dare you, and that type of thing, which is just so awful and so toxic. So getting away from that has been much healthier for me. But
now you just bring hot dogs to a campfire. Look at that. Your true self.
I know. Now I'm finally realizing myself is just a hobo. It's really all it is. It's just.
But you're you, though. You're not pretending to be a shell of somebody else. That's just you, and you're not apologizing for it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. If you don't fucking like it, I don't give a shit.
That's true. I mean, when they started making fun of me, I was like, "Hey, fuck you! I'm gonna have delicious hot dogs."
But that confidence wasn't built overnight either, though.
No,
you didn't figure that out overnight. You were single for what, 12 years? And then
yes, I mean, off and on. I mean, obviously, I've had the relationships here and there, but yes, for the most part. And so like going back to what you did as a kid that maybe were things that you enjoyed. Maybe just trying new things. Like I tried stand up, which I had done once in high school, like as a talent competition, but I was dating someone and we went to the Improv to watch comedy because I loved comedy, and I had never actually been with Amy to watch. We watched George Carlin once, but we never really checked out the comedy scene. And so I was looking for things to do and dates in Orlando and found the Orlando Improv. We went there and my date was like, you should do this. Like, why are you not trying this? And they talked about having a comedy class. And she was like, I really think this would be something to try. And I was like, you know what? Not a bad idea. I'm a little scared, But
Yeah.
like, what else am I gonna do on a Monday night? Like, let me go to give this a shot. And it was a thing that I was good at, and I never would have tried it if I'd been still married, because it would have kind of fucked up our whole schedule and all this. And so it was something I could only have done by being single.
And you were able to meet new people too, and that branched you out into other friend groups that you might still have. I don't know. I know you still have connections from comedy.
Oh
but
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Still friends to this day. Someone just posted a picture of a group of us from 10 years ago at one of the first open mics that I used to run, and it was just a big group of us that are all still doing. I would say half of us are probably actively doing comedy. I'm not on stage right now, but I will be again eventually. I'd say you can't stay away from it. But yeah, it's like cool seeing how far some of them progress. One of them's on TV all the time now. One of them, she lives in Los Angeles and she's making it. But it was really cool. And like, I made this group of friends that are going to be friends, for a long time.
Yeah. So try new hobbies. I think the other thing, unless you want to touch on something else related to hobbies, Adam. No, I think the other thing is finding self-care habits that are good for you. Because my biggest thing is taking walks, taking time to just have a skincare routine and just taking care of myself.
Right.
Like I'm actually not only investing in hobbies, but investing in just my mental well-being without going to therapy, but just walking does my body good. And I figured out what I need to not feel negative about myself. Even when I wasn't in a relationship, when I was single, oh, these things make me feel good about myself. So I should do more of that.
Yeah, and I think that can get lost in a relationship sometimes, because you might put the other person ahead of your own needs. And so you might feel weird about, hey, I'm gonna go take a walk for 15 minutes, or I'm gonna go out and do this just because it's something you like to do. But when you're single, once again, you can do these things. You can build these routines. You can work on yourself in any way that you see fit.
Anything else related to self-care?
To self-care habits? No,
Besides
I think it's good.
masturbating? No.
Masturbate 7 times a day, as much as you want.
Okay, you can do it as however often you would like. I don't know, 7.
Dude, that might be a lot. But yeah,
that is
went
a lot.
too much. Speaking of which, did you heal up? Are you all healed up, by the way?
Oh my God, I took that off the agenda because I was like, really, we have to talk about that?
So, I mean, we have yes. I mean,
I am
listen,
fine.
the listeners are concerned about
my sexual health.
about your health.
Fine.
Okay.
I'm fine down there. Don't worry, guys.
The doctor looked at all and said it was fine.
I'm all good. Yes,
That's
thank
good.
you. Thank you for caring about me, Adam.
Just have to make sure that the Camry of pussies is okay.
The Camry of pussies. I think you asked her, like, did you tell your doctor that we talk about your vagina openly? I'm like, fuck no, I didn't tell my doctor that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That's something I would totally tell my doctor. I'd just be like, this will be going on the podcast.
Because there was once, this is tangent now, there was once upon a time when I went to my dentist and made a statement about giving a lot of head, and then I felt ultimate shame. And
well, that's right. What did you say?
I could never do that again. They had an oral cancer screening thing
right
for your mouth, and they're like, yeah, do you want to pay the extra like $20 to get the screening done? And they gave a list of like all the reasons why, and one of them was like STD related, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I do a lot of things with my mouth, so outside of just brushing my teeth, that I should probably get this checked. And they like gave me a look, and I was like, yeah, like I give a lot of head. And then they were like, you could have stopped there, girl, you could have stopped. It was just very embarrassing. So now I just keep it as
I suck a lot of dicks. What are you gonna do about it? I suck a lot of dicks sometimes.
Here's $20. Do the test. I don't know.
Yeah. Go treat yourself. Let's just make sure. I suck a lot of dicks. I love
how you're doing a voice now. It's not me. It's you this time.
It's just the way that you're saying it. It's just kind of like, yeah.
It's like a lot of dicks.
It's like a lot of dicks. I had forgotten all about that.
Oh God, I can't. I'm scarred. Anyways, thank you for asking me about that. On to the next thing: self-care and improving your life.
Yeah. So then beyond that, here, like, what are things to do when you're single? Like, what can you do being single? And I know this is stupid, but like
anything and everything.
Exactly. Like, go out to a bar. Go sit at a bar if you like to drink. Go have a drink at your local bar. Go just walk in. Don't talk to the hostess. Just be like, I'm going to sit at the bar. Go find a seat at the bar by yourself. Pull up and order a drink. Get on your phone. Bring a book. Do whatever. If you see anybody you want to talk to them. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And I know that it's also different for men and women. That's one big aspect of this is like for me, I can go sit there and not talk to anybody. If somebody wants to talk to me, I just ignore them. I can, feel free to do that. As a woman, it might be a little harder, but I think you also, if you choose a good bar, someone where maybe you either will get to know the bartender, etc., then they'll kind of make sure that you're not being harassed by anybody. Don't let anybody harass you. Don't, like if it's not a good place for you to be, if it doesn't feel safe, then don't go, obviously. But this is if you feel safe and comfortable. Go to a bar, go to a restaurant, bring a book, go to the movies,
and not for the intention of meeting other people either. Just
yeah,
to enjoy
this is
your time.
This is just to
for
go
you.
because you want to go have a drink and you don't want to drink at home and you just and you want to go to the effort of getting
dressed up,
putting on
looking
pants
nice and going out.
Exactly. Like it's funny because she was telling me like as she's getting ready and she's like, should I I guess I should put makeup on. I was like, if you want to, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Only if it's gonna make it, like if it's something that you're gonna enjoy yourself more because you're gonna enjoy your time more because you're wearing makeup, then yes.
Yeah.
And then what else can you do? Yeah, like I said, go to the movies. Go if there's a museum with an art exhibit and you've always wanted to go but nobody ever to go with, just fucking go. You don't have to wait for somebody to go with you to do these things.
Just take yourself out on a fucking date. Like,
Yeah.
There's no one saying you can't do anything. I did the same thing in Bentonville when I was there for a weekend, which travel is a whole nother option of like, you want to go for a weekend trip, go and I think that's the next step. Once you've gotten comfortable doing things solo in your own town, then you can go, I can do a trip solo anywhere I want now because I feel comfortable doing that. But I remember walking into this bar or this restaurant and I said, just table for one. And people are like, oh, how amazing of you. The same thing I had mentioned of
right.
You're so brave or whatever. I was like, no, I just want dinner and I'm traveling solo, but that's fine, right? Whatever. Yeah. But then having a drink and doing whatever, it's a total vibe. It's just such a fun time. And then after that, I went, I kind of want ice cream. I kind of want to walk to this museum over here. I kind of want to just sit here by the fountain and just enjoy the night and just sit and watch other people. And I did all of those things. And then I went home and it was great,
And I think you and my friend Lisa have both been great examples on the fact that you can travel. You can just pick up and decide to go somewhere for a week and have a great time. I mean, she's been all over the country and world. I mean, she went to Thailand, she went to Barcelona, and of course you've been to Portugal by yourself. I know you were with friends. That was your first international flight by yourself, first international trip on your own. Mm-hmm. But like, of course, you've been all over the US on your own. Mm-hmm. And then my friend Danielle actually had this great thing. She did a whole talk about using Tinder while she travels to just meet friends and make it very clear that she's not looking for anything. This is only hey, I'm going to be traveling through. I'm going to be in your town. And it'd be nice to have a local to know where if there's any cool places to check out. And she got really good at reading red flags and screening out the creeps, and met some really good people that she's still really close friends with, and would sometimes even end up on their couch for that night, which is a little riskier than I would say, but
yeah, I don't know if I would do that, but
beyond that, like she would just have they would be like, oh yeah, well, check out this bar, check out this place, this is a great place to go, and she would go and have a cool recommendation from a local. And so that's all just traveling while single. So travel is one of those things that people sometimes feel like they have to wait for another person to go, and I would say absolutely not. Like, you travel on your own, go do these things just because you want to, and you don't have to drag someone else with you who might not be as excited about it too.
Yeah, let's smash that stigma of you need to be with someone to have fun. Because let's be honest, how many trips and how many outings have you been on with other people? And it was fucking terrible because of the people you went with.
Yep.
And you're like, wow, I'll never fucking do that again. Wouldn't have been that way if you would have just gone by yourself. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think about those joint family trips. I remember years ago my family taking a trip with another family, and I don't think they ever talked to that other family again. Like, I feel like
oh God, that's
intense. Like, I feel like it was just they just were not getting along. Like, it was just because they both had different plans and things and all that, and it's just it sounds fucking terrible.
If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's like, if it's a fuck yes, it's a fuck. It's the same thing. It's really just when you're deciding what you want to do, if you say, I kind of like to try that, fucking do it. If you're like, I don't feel safe doing this, or I'll feel uncomfortable, then don't do it. Don't put, and I think over time, as you slowly develop this of, okay, I went out to this bar by myself and had a drink. That was cool. okay, I feel more comfortable doing this next thing next time, which is maybe taking myself out to dinner and then going to a bar, or,
Yeah.
another thing that might be out of your comfort zone and just trying it and seeing how it turned out.
And there's sites like Meetup and there's Facebook groups for different interests. So if you have different interests, you can join groups for that. And then they will sometimes do just meetups of people who all have similar interests. And you're not doing it to try to meet somebody to date. You're just doing it because you guys have similar interests. And so that's another way to
Right.
do things that are single, but also maybe with a group, so that you at least have like people who are like, want to check off on a list. Oh, someone was supposed to be here. Make sure they're are they still here? Are they alive? Things like that as well.
True. Yeah, I see the benefit in that. And then other times I get weird in those social situations where I'm like, oh God, it's just gonna be
Oh yeah,
I
I
don't
would
know.
have no desire
Some
to
things
do
are just
those
really
things.
awkward and
Yeah.
I hate awkwardness like that. But I mean, it's worth giving it a shot. That's kind of something I'm gonna have to push myself into trying this year, is
Yeah.
pushing myself into different social situations to see what I like and what I don't like. And once you figure out what you don't like, don't fucking do it again. And then when you are in a relationship, I know this is how to be single, but then you already have that knowledge of going, yeah, I don't fucking like to do that. So
Right.
I'm not going to do that, even if my significant other likes that.
Yeah, exactly. Like cruises. I know that I'm gonna give them a third try, but I went on a cruise when I was married as our honeymoon. It was terrible. I went on a cruise as a single adult, and it was terrible. And I was like, I might give it a third try just to see, but I really, it's just one of those
Oh,
things that I learned.
I thought we were gonna go on a cruise for
We were
my
well,
birthday.
we were, but it was gonna be like a dating kind of sucks cruise, but it was before the
Right.
pandemic, and that would have been okay because I feel like that we would have like had events and things like that. Like it wouldn't have been as bad, but otherwise, yeah. That was gonna be my third attempt, because otherwise I'll be like fuck cruises. But yeah, so literally anything you want to do, you can do when you're single, and you shouldn't keep yourself at home just because you're like, oh well, this would be fun to do with somebody. Just go do it. Literally, go out there and get out there and just do things.
Plus, it's cheaper if you just do it as a solo person too.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh, it's more money now because we have to spend more to do something that they want to do while we're out at this event or whatever. It's like you could just only buy what you want to buy, and you don't feel guilted into doing
And
and
when you want to
spending more
leave, you can
money.
just leave. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about someone else. It really is fantastic. Like I can't express how how nice it is sometimes to have nobody like that you're like holding back, or you're worried about, like, are they having a good time? Are they ready to go, etc. It really does make life a lot easier in many situations. There's one kind of last thing that I think worth talking about as far as being single. That's this whole idea, and I touched on it a little bit earlier, but this whole idea that it's lonely.
Right.
Uh,
And it's not, but
well, and
that's the
I just want to
point.
talk about the difference between being alone and loneliness. And that's the thing. The thing is that loneliness can seep into anything. You can be with a group of your closest friends and still have moments of loneliness. Like that's an emotional, that's an emotional state. That's like depression. Loneliness is something that can happen when you're in a marriage. It can happen. You can be surrounded by all your kids, etc. And so people in relationships have moments of loneliness. People who are single have loneliness. Like it does not mean that because you're alone you're going to be lonely. And I think that that's important to really keep in mind, that if you have a healthy, fulfilling single life, like as long as you're not single at home going like, oh, I wish I was in a relationship, which we're already telling you is toxic and unhealthy.
Right.
Like, so let's get rid of that. As long as you're not doing that, then you will find that those lonely moments that you will have, of course, because everyone has those, will be balanced out with plenty of really incredible moments at the same time. And so the benefit of being single too is that you also have alone time, which is time that you don't always get when you're in a relationship, depending on how
And you
intense
can
the
use that.
relationship is. And yeah,
You could use that for self-care. You can use that for hobbies. That doesn't mean you're lonely. You
yes,
can use that to build out other blocks of time. So yeah, you might have a couple days where you feel lonely, but then you can build in other things of, okay, I'm feeling lonely and sad about that. How can I build this into not feeling lonely anymore? Going to groups, focusing on my mental health, going on walks, building in self-care routines, something like that. Going on a trip, you can kind of figure that out too. Because I mean, I'll even say in a relationship, I feel lonely a lot, but
yeah,
that's not to fault master of none. It's that I know I'm missing elements in my life that would make me feel less lonely, not because it has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with how I built my alone time blocks out. And I don't have anything
That's
built
right.
out in those blocks. So then I'm just sitting there going, I have nothing to do. I have no friends. I feel lonely. And that's
Yes.
on you to go, hey, I need to change this.
Right.
And it's not, hey, I need to be in a relationship. It's, hey, I need to build other cool parts of my life out more.
Exactly. And for me, it's just if I ever feel lonely and then I end up doing things like, going to the grocery store and just realizing how much I hate people and that I'm so glad to have my alone time back.
You're like, well, that snapped me out of that real quick.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling lonely. And then I go socialize by going through a grocery store in the middle of the apocalypse. And then coming and being like, oh no, this is enough. I don't need to see people for a week now. I'll be perfectly satisfied.
Yeah. I think another thing too, just to wrap up, is
Yeah.
when you're single and learning how to be single, you also raise your standards. I know we said like what you
True.
won't and what you will do and won't do, but when you're actually ready to go, okay, I want to dedicate some of this free time to dating now, you have a
Right.
different perspective of, I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah.
You're not worth my time. My standards are a lot higher now.
That's exactly
So
true.
take that single time and raise those standards.
Yeah, I mean, and even like you have a one night stand and you're like, okay, time to leave. Like, I want my alone time now. Like, because you're like, you don't want the person to stay around. You want them to like get the fuck out because you're done. Like, oh yeah, you've provided your purpose, and now, boy, it's time to leave. So like,
We're done with you. Goodbye.
good luck and goodbye. So yeah, I think that it's scary sometimes, the idea of being single, and a lot of people stay in relationships because they are nervous about what single life has for them. But I can tell you that if you learn how to be single, like as an adult, you will find it is full of benefits.
More fulfilling than you would have thought.
Exactly. And one thing you can do while you're out there doing your single thing is by just putting us on your subscribing to us and listening to us on your earbuds, and just while you're out doing shit, listen to Dating Kind of Sucks.
Go on a walk. You have us in your ears. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but yeah, you feel less alone. That's for sure.
It's definitely a good thing. I'm gonna say it's a good thing. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up by asking you, if you have not, it is 2022. This is season 5. If you have not yet given us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, if you would please do that, that would be a huge Christmas, New Year's bonus for us to start off this new season.
What are you doing if you're not doing that?
Exactly,
if you've been here from the beginning, come on.
Right. But if you're new and you would love a 5-star rating and review from you, I saw somewhere that Spotify is about to start allowing rating and reviews. So I don't think they have yet, but
not yet.
If they do at some point, and you see that in Spotify, if you pull us up on Spotify and you see there's a thumbs up or some type of rating, please do it, because that helps us significantly.
And if you're wanting some more Dating Kinda Sucks when you're not listening to our episodes, you can always join our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/DKS podcast for more topics related to dating. Find your community of other people that feel comfortable sharing dating stories and get active in there.
That's right. It's a growing group, and it's always got something interesting happening in there. So we'd love for you to join that. You can also follow us on Instagram at Dating Kinda Sucks. You can email us with any questions that you have that you want us to talk about on air or otherwise at datingkindasuckspodcast@gmail.com.
You can join us on Patreon and be a patron for as little as $5 a month at patreon.com/DKS podcast. We do after the episode recordings and give away more bits of information on our 15 to 20 minute recordings every week, which now will be every week, it seems like. So
yeah, it will be. Yeah, well, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with Patreon there. If we're gonna do it after every episode or some episodes,
every
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Just us, yeah.
But there'll be content there, and of course you can follow us on TikTok. We talk about different things. Sarah talks about trends and giving head, and I talk about dating a lot.
On brand.
On brand, exactly. I'm at Adam Heath on TikTok, and Sarah is at simply Sarah G _ on TikTok. So we'd love for you to follow us on there as well. And with that, we will be. We'll be
back next week.
We'll be back next week with a brand new episode where we have a conversation with someone interesting. It'd be great if I could just be like, we'll be back with, and then left blank, and then like we just typed it, put in like interview with so and so. But yeah, we have no idea who we're going to be talking to by the time this actually comes out. But it'll be a great episode. So check out our new interviews. That'll be every other week, and see what you think about that. And with that, we'll be back next week.
Until next time.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yuck, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.